Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
All right. So, hey, Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Labor
My
Day
fellow
weekend,
Virgo.
you know,
I just found out you had a birthday on the 28th. So
26th. Yeah.
the 26th. Okay, so
Yes.
you're kind of on the cusp.
Yes, I am. I'm a Virgo with a Leo rising.
All right, my friend. So I got Libra and everything.
Ah, the money
All
lady.
right. So listen, thank you for the list of things we can discuss.
Sure.
And we haven't talked in how long? It's been a while.
June 30th.
Was it June?
Yeah,
That's not too bad. A couple of months.
not too bad. No,
I
just
calmed it
enough to
down.
have a lot for us to talk about this time.
I'll tell you, that's right. So the Maui fires, what do you have? What information did you get on that?
Okay. First of all, obviously, I've had a number of people that read my weekly newsletter have sent in questions about the Maui fire, and uh, some were asking about conspiracy theories and what have you. One of them was they were asking if there was some type of direct ray that caused the fires. That's what they'd heard. And of course, I received that no, these fires were mostly caused by electrical lines um, falling to the ground or sparking or whatever, causing the fires, which quickly spread because of the high winds. So that was one question. Then uh, I had someone that said, "Well, I read a lady that communicates with the Galactic Federation, and she was saying that the people that were missing were actually taken aboard a Galactic Federation ship and taken away." And honestly, that's something that someone that's a young soul would want to hear. To give you an example, recently I had someone asking about the Pied Piper of Hamlin, and I I was told that there was a virus going through the countryside at that time, and it was killing a lot of children. So they made up the story of a Pied Piper uh, using his piper, his instrument, to lead the children away so that they wouldn't be so sad or depressed or afraid um, because so many children had died. And this is kind of like the same way. This is for that message was for like a younger soul group that finds it very hard to accept the fact that well over 100 people were incinerated in the fire,
Yeah.
and this was a message to them. Oh, don't worry, they were taken away by the Galactic Federation ship. Um, and let's see, I was asked about the rebuilding, and of course, a lot of people could figure this out on their own, but I was told that obviously there's going to be a huge um, operation just to clear the debris from Lahaina town, and and then there will be spotty construction. There'll be a house here and a house there, and another house there that will be built, but the heavy long-term outlook is going to be 5 to 10 years before they are completely able to rebuild Lahaina town. So that's that's a shame, but I was told, these fires were on those people's um, uh, soul contracts in order to experience those fires. And then, as far as the deaths go, I was told it will remain under 200, and so they're pretty well accurate in their guesses as to how many people were killed in the fire. Then, no, I'm missing one here. Of course, the deaths were people either completely incinerated or actually drowned and lost to sea. So that's
My
in a
guy
nutshell.
said that corporations would try to come in and buy that land underneath those people.
Yeah. Now I haven't asked that question, and I hear that's already being done.
Apparently they're, but you know, right now Maui is saying, no, we're not. But it takes that long to get anything built. They might just, and the amount of money they give them is fat enough. They might say, fair enough, take it. Because they want to build top notch, you know, a place for rich people.
Yeah. Sort of like this morning on, I think it was CBS Sunday Mornings, they had a story about Jackson, Wyoming, and how the average house there goes for $3.5 million, and it's just gotten to be a place for
Jackson, Wyoming.
Yes, gotten to be a place for the very, very rich.
But what's so great about Jackson, Wyoming?
Well, it's just one of those places where they have the ski runs close by, and their summers are beautiful, and so it's just drawn a lot of Hollywood money.
A lot of Hollywood people were in Idaho too.
Yeah, so there's just a lot of money flowing in. Also, there's no state taxes like they're the same as in Texas. So a lot of people find it's a good place to park their money. They can claim, they work out of Jackson, Wyoming, and not pay taxes.
Right. So what do you got on dreaming?
Yeah, dreaming. I learned recently, and it was told to me emphatically a couple of times by, as an example, Octopus Soul that I was talking to. Somebody asked me if octopuses or octopi, depending on how you want to say it, ask it if they actually dream, because they'd seen a video where an octopus was thrashing around and shooting out ink like it was trying to protect itself. And so Octopus Soul told me, Tom, every being in the universe dreams. And I thought, boy, yeah. And so I kind of went back and was talking to Gaia one day and asked Gaia the same question. And yes, every single being in the universe dreams. So insects.
I know dogs do, because sometimes they're running in their sleep.
Yes. Oh, and my dogs, I have one dog that she's she's fighting somebody. So she gets really excited. So that's but I thought that was such a profound statement, that every single being in the universe dreams. So I'm, I talk to Gaia every single week, and I'm going to have a book before too long where
Another one?
yes, it'll be my conversations with Gaia.
Ooh.
And the thing that's been holding me back for over 2 weekends, I keep hoping that on the weekend I'll have enough time to read the manuscript that my editor, this is the editor before it goes to my publisher, my personal editor that edits my newsletters, and I'm going to give a co-writing, like I did with my The Gentle Way with Pets, where I listed a co-writer. And so she sent me the manuscript, and I've just had a terrible time finding time to read through and make changes. I've made a few already, but I still have a long way to go. So this will be all my conversations with Gaia going all the way back to around 2010, maybe
Wow.
maybe 8 or 9. So I've been communicating with Gaia a long time, and I found it interesting. And these questions have come up in the last 6 months, I think, that Gaia came to this universe at a very, very early stage. I think I've maybe mentioned to you before, but I'll do it again, that I'm told our universe is not 13.5 billion years old. It's actually 25 billion years old. And I can confirm a little bit of the Big Bang, except it was kind of like a small bang. So what Creator did, starting out, was that Creator created several hundred galaxies. And this is when Gaia showed up, wanting, with the idea of wanting to become a quantum master. And so Gaia, so Creator told Gaia, well, what you need to do is you need to go through all of these galaxies that I have created so far, and communicate with all the suns and planets and moons and all as to why they chose those suns, moons, planets, etc. And so this took her millions of years. She ensouled a 2 mile wide asteroid, and so she went through all of these galaxies because they were pretty tightly packed together when it started out. And she'd go through one after another, several hundred years in each one, and eventually she finished those and was ready to take on Earth. So we can confirm in a way that the Big Bang theory, except it was a small bang. And after that, Gaia told me pardon me, Creator told me that uh, Creator would have several rounds where Creator would create thousands of more galaxies at one time. And what's amazing is that each one of these galaxies, these trillions of galaxies in our universe, not one is the same as another. Every single one is different from all the others in some way. So somebody, I just read somebody saying, well, maybe aliens created galaxies. And that kind of brings me back to the fact that people would rather believe a being, actual living being, uh, you know, created something or did something, than they would like to believe that there's really this amazing creator that created these trillions of galaxies, and which we're all a part of.
Wow. Now something just flashed of these questions here. Elvis
Okay.
the Predator, I thought that was interesting.
What?
Elvis the Predator? What does that
Oh.
mean?
Well, I got a question. Again, all these questions come from my readers of my weekly newsletter, which people can find at www.thegentlewaybook.com. And you can sign up for the free newsletter on the front page, or go to articles and news, where all my weekly newsletters are archived all the way back to 2007. So someone asked me about Elvis. They had heard that he liked underage girls, and I was able to confirm that. he had sex with 1,200 or more underage girls, sometimes 3 or more per night. And he loved them somewhere around 14 or so, 14, 15. And so that's, so he actually had people that these young girls would be standing outside of the mansion in Memphis, and they'd go out and choose, 2 or 3 girls. Oh, would you like to go meet Elvis? And they'd bring them in, and many girls lost their virginity to Elvis Presley.
Wow, I didn't know. I know with Priscilla, according to her, of course, they never went all the way, but
Well, yes, according to what she said.
yeah.
And but he was interested in her from the age of what, 14 or so.
Yeah.
And so that
what about Joe Manchin?
Well, I'm told that that he's interested, of course,
Yes.
but there will be events that will preclude him from doing a third party run or something like that.
I felt like he was a nothing burger. I
He
felt
was.
like he would throw his hat in or start to throw his hat in, and there's such little response, it's almost embarrassing.
Yeah.
And Trump in Georgia, what did you get with Trump in Georgia?
I'm told that there will be a conviction, but he will not spend any time in prison. Don't know why, but that's what
I always said that. I said he won't go to prison.
Okay.
Not a prison like we think prison, maybe a military facility. I don't know. Or maybe
Yeah,
he won't make
or
it.
maybe his Mar-a-Lago estate.
But he's not much longer.
How about that? Okay.
Warming climate acceptance.
Yeah, I'm told this people that have been saying no, the climate's not warming are finally going to come around and say yes, it is.
Okay.
What did you get?
There is a climate change going on. The Earth is rebooting. It's not angry at us. It just can't handle us anymore.
Yeah.
I saw a lot. I predicted a lot of hurricanes. I've told everybody a couple of years ago, fasten your seatbelt and listen to the news, because if they say go, go.
Yeah. And I'm told still by Gaia that, she's still got another 2 or 3 more hurricanes to go this year.
Yeah.
And, that will affect the United States in some way. So
Yeah.
we'll see if, she said that, some of the storms, even if they're tropical, would remain, they would be slow movers and would dump a lot of rain, and there
That's
would
what
be
happened.
flooding.
Yeah. So the Gaia book, Journey to Earth.
Oh, but yeah, before we get back to that, on the climate change, Gaia says that she could, we're losing all these coral beds, and they're turning white. And Gaia said, she said, I can fix that if I want to, but she said it's up to you to figure out how to fix it. That's part of your learning. That's part of the explorer race. So.
Okay, and the Gaia book, Journey to Earth.
Yeah, that was where I was kind of explaining before about how she got here.
Okay.
And,
I see.
and eventually became this quantum master. Keep in mind, she takes care of not only, we've talked about this before, where there are 12 parallel lives for each person on Earth. And so there are 12 parallel Earths. And so she is taking care of 12 Earths, even though one of them is non-physical, which is number 12. But all the rest are physical. And so she is this amazing soul that is able to take care of 11 or 12 Earths.
Wow. Here's another. God, you got such interesting questions here. Crystals tapping for knowledge in 150 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I came across that recently. I was told that crystals are able to record, and that someday, in about 150 years or so, humans will figure out how to download or however it happens, what these crystals have recorded. So I was told in my case that the crystals that I have, like here in my office, I have some pretty big crystals. Uh, some couple I barely pick up anymore. But I'm told that my family, my kids will hang on to these crystals. Their families will, and they'll be passed down. And in 150 years, they're going to be able to go back and see how I did all this. Because obviously, when supposedly I'm supposed to do this documentary on board the Syrian mothership, there are going to be people that are going to make up very fanciful ways that I was able to do that. Like maybe I was. I don't even bring up things because somebody will take it out of context. But some very weird ideas of how I was able to be the person that led my family to do this these documentaries. So
Oh, yeah.
it'll clear up misconceptions, but it'll be 150 years.
About 150 years. So we won't be around unless we are.
Nope.
So this
be
is
other bodies maybe at
maybe
the
we'll
same
have a
time.
new body. Yeah. I'm asking for a whole new flavor. So what do you think about this? I love this question. Yellowstone West Coast update, Mount Rainier.
Yeah. Every 6 months I get to ask about this. And then somebody also asked me about Mount Rainier since they live close to the volcano.
Yeah.
That's what they call it. And so the last time I asked, these percentages have not changed in about a year and a half. I was told it's still a 73% chance that Yellowstone will erupt and a 63% chance that the West Coast, because of these eruptions, will also have major earthquakes. And I was told that those percentages are remaining the same, that Gaia has not been given the go-ahead by our souls to do these eruptions and all. And but I'm told that if any time in the 6 months, because I just asked this at June or so, the end of June, anytime in the next 6 months or the 6 months after that, whenever that there is a large migration, excuse me, of people from the West Coast and from the Yellowstone area, a large migration of people leaving, and then an equally large migration of people moving to those places. That is supposed to be able to tell us that the time is close, that she's been given the okay to have these eruptions. And coupled with that, if those eruptions happen and all, Mount Rainier will come to life, and there will be massive mudslides and going down into that valley, and that anyone that lives in the area will, at the very minimum, lose their houses, if not their lives. So that's um, that's just something that keep your eye on big migrations of people. If it doesn't happen in the next 6 months, at the end of December or January, I'll ask again.
Okay. Okay. The Grand Canyon, ancient ruins.
Yeah. I had been asked if 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 there are ancient ruins that the Smithsonian has blocked off, and I'm told yes, there are in the Grand Canyon, and uh, it dates even back to Atlantean times or whatever, that there are ruins there that maybe someday they will allow people to view. Right now, I think they probably think it's so controversial that they don't want people to see.
Wow. Antura's mothership with.
Ventura's mothership.
Yeah.
With yes. Now this is something, a real eye opener. Recently, in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, I was reading. Needless to say, I read a lot of stuff about UFOs and ETs and what have you these days. And excuse me, just a second. So there was a man that was reported on one of these crashed spaceships that was brought down. There are actually people have reported that, like, the Roswell craft was brought down by radar, and actually it was directed radar, from what I can understand, and that it's been done many times, whatever, since, bringing down these ships before they finally figured out how to avoid them. They know where they are now, and they avoid them like the plague. Um, so one of these military types or whatever went inside the ship, and he became extremely disoriented and nauseous, because he said, when I got inside there, uh, this was a 30-foot wide uh, spaceship, and inside it looked as big as a football field. And so I decided I better ask about that. So I said, okay, Antura, um, is the inside of your spacecraft 300 feet long? And he said, no, Tom. He said, when you go from the 4 negative energies, which is what the Earth exists in as part of the Earth experiment, and the special space-time continuum where we're living in 4 negative energies. When you go inside our ships, instead of being the same size as the outside, you go into the 10 positive energies. And he said, in actuality, that ship was 150 feet wide. And so I said, well, okay. So taking that to your mothership, you've told me before in the book, First Contact Conversations with an ET, you told me it was 1 mile wide. You said you told me that because you were spoon feeding us the information, not wanting us to be afraid. Eventually, he told me that it was 3 miles wide and 20 stories tall. So I said, okay, since it's 3 miles wide, would it be at least 10 or 12 miles wide on the inside? And he said, oh, at least that. And I said, well, is it larger? He said, we don't want to scare you. So I figured out, well, if 30 feet equals 150 feet, 3 miles should equal 15 miles. So I assume his mothership on the inside, which he said was, quote, roomy. I thought that was funny. Is 15 miles wide, and he wouldn't respond. So,
Right.
but that's a huge ship. But it's interesting. He said when our scientists first came to Earth and knowing about the four energies and everything, he said our scientists were really surprised to see that the outside would be compacted and the inside would be normal. And I said, well, what about, when we go on board your ship, and this somebody asked me this, will our forms widen too, and he said, no, they'll remain the same. So for whatever reason, the space greatly expands inside these motherships.
Well, I remember that show, the Steven Spielberg show. And remember that big mothership was as big as the canyon. It was huge.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt if that was true.
Well,
So,
if you can imagine, if it was that large, can you imagine what it'd be inside?
oh my gosh.
But-
De Niro and Pacino's children. That's an interesting one.
Oh, yeah. That was an interesting knowledge to learn about these two men, that they oh gosh, how to explain it. The women that were having these babies were women that had abandoned their children, and so they're balancing that in this life by taking care of their children after their husbands die as single mothers. And the children are all going to follow in their father's footsteps in the arts.
Oh, okay.
Grow up.
I don't know who this is, but I guess, was he the Frederick ex-president or FedEx?
Oh, it's
Frederick
the FedEx founder.
Oh, okay.
And somebody asked me, did he have a life in the future? And I found it interesting that he had a life in the future in which he actually worked for FedEx at one time. And then after he transitioned, he came back and started FedEx. And the same thing has happened to others, like Steve Jobs had a life in the future before he came back and started Apple.
Wow.
So,
Israel, change of leadership.
Yeah. Now I'm told that within the next year, there will be a change of leadership from the bottom up. So I don't know if you've gotten anything on that yet.
I have. I saw Netanyahu exiting stage left.
Okay.
Palladium sharing info with 6 countries.
I have to look for that one. Who I could communicate with is on the Syrian mothership. Now, this Syrian mothership has a crew of 900, plus their families totaling 1,500, because they live their whole lives on board the spaceship.
Right.
Many of them come from planets in the Sirius B star system where they actually live underground. And so this is another miscalculation, or scientists are not even considering the fact. They say, well, we've got, when we look for planets that can support life, we've got to find planets that look kind of like Earth. And so they're not looking at the fact that, as an example, if Earth was much closer to the sun, we'd probably all be living in caverns underneath the Earth, because there are many, many caverns below us that are habitable and even have their own light from crystals or whatever. So this this Palladian is on another mothership, and it's slightly smaller than the Syrian one, but they have a pretty large crew. And this Palladian and 3 or 4 other Palladians have meetings once a month with these scientists back engineering these spacecraft um, that they've captured from these crashes and everything.
Yeah.
And so they not only meet with these scientists in the United States, but 5 other countries. And they all think that they're the only ones that these Palladians are meeting with. But what the Palladians are doing is actually making sure that nobody gets ahead of the others. So if you could imagine, if you can imagine, there are several ways to the same end, but they're taking these people on sort of like a circuitous route around so that they don't get there too fast. And so each month they meet with all these 6 countries, and so that includes, of course, China and Russia, and I think Brazil, and some 1 or 2 European countries. So they're
Wow.
they're actually doing that, but won't they be surprised when they learn they ain't the only one?
Yep. High pressure dome.
Yeah, I ask about this, needless to say, because poor old North Texas, we're in the middle of this high pressure dome, and we had not, until this morning, we had not seen rain for like 2 months. I
Yes.
mean, it's nothing but sunny skies
And hot.
and hot. Up, we made it actually as high as 1 or 2 days, 110 degrees. I mean, that's
Kansas City was 113.
oh, Lordy mercy. I Everybody under this pressure dome, was having a hard time. And so I asked just in the past week, I said, Gaia, how long is this high pressure dome going to remain stuck in top of the central uh, part of the plain states and all? And I was told that it will not break down for 3 weeks. So that's now this morning we got lucky, and we were one of the very, very few places in this area that actually got 5/100 of an inch of rain. And I heard that somebody, might have gotten a 1/4 inch or so, but we got 5/100, and we were thrilled just
No,
to get what we got.
it rained. It hasn't been as hot here, and it can get hot. But it rained yesterday morning, and that beautiful smell, the smell of the earth. Oh, I love that smell.
Yes, me too.
So Musk 12K to 30K satellites.
Um,
Elon Musk.
again.
Elon Musk 12K to 30K.
Oh, yes. Okay. Elon Musk envisions putting up somewhere between 12,000 and 30,000 satellites for communication. And so obviously I got a question from one of my readers. My gosh, there's so many satellites up there already. What's it going to be if he puts up 12,000 to 30,000 more? And I was told that it would take quite some time to manufacture that many. And then in the meantime, other companies would put up satellites that would be able to do the same thing, but like one maybe doing the same as 500 of his, or I'm just making up a number here because I don't know the exact number, but that that's just one of his fanciful ideas that is not going to really work.
I know I was up in Sedona and we saw his Starlink satellites going. They weren't UFOs, it was his satellites.
Yes. And sometimes, hopefully, they do have these expeditions that you can sign on a tour and go out at night and look for UFOs. And hopefully, they're doing it correctly and saying, well, that's a satellite and that's a satellite. That's a UFO. And not saying, oh, there's another UFO. Oh, there's another UFO. So if you go to Sedona and go out to see the UFOs, get a list of the satellites passing over Sedona, so you'll know what's a satellite.
Well, listen, the ones I saw with military goggles, they go up, straight up, and then make a total, two of them make a total about face go in the opposite direction. That's not a satellite. That's
No, that's you saw the good stuff.
I saw the good stuff. So Borneo leg amputation. What is that? I don't. Who's Borneo?
Oh, Borneo is the island or country of Borneo.
Oh,
So interesting. It was an interesting answer from a reader that sent me, a picture of this skeleton that had a leg amputation, and they found it in a cave that was over 30,000 years old.
wow.
And so they were saying, how did they, know how to do a leg amputation over 30,000 years ago?
Right,
And
right.
I was told, and never thought about it, but since it's over in the area where Lemuria used to be, the continent of Mu, that it was like a traveling doctor from Lemuria that came and assisted them in the amputation.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was interesting.
That's very interesting. So
Yeah.
tell us that you're doing an event coming up.
Yeah, I'm on the weekend of September 30th and October 1st. There's going to be an event in Grapevine, Texas. Now, Grapevine is sort of like halfway in between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's not too far from the DFW airport.
Okay.
And at the Grapevine Convention Center, they're going to have this event. It's their first year. It's called "We Are Not Alone in the Universe," and the wrangler of the he calls himself the wrangler. The wrangler of the speakers is a guy that I've spoken. He used to have a group in Fort Worth, and I would speak periodically there. And all the people that are speaking at this expo are all people that have spoken at his for his group in the past, and so he got us all for a cheap rate. So this is probably one of the best deals that I've heard of for having an expo with speakers. It's only $15 a day and $25 for 2 days. And I'm speaking on the second day, and I'll be speaking about my book, First Contact: Conversations with an ET. But there are, as we say, several speakers, and you'll never see a less expensive price because they're talking about having another one next May, and the price is going to go up. So if you're anywhere in this region, you might consider wanting to attend.
Check it out. Yeah. Hey, everybody, I'm going to post this link for this event, and I'm going to post Tom's website, www.thegentlewaybook.com. Is that right?
Yep. Excellent.
Well,
And Go ahead.
Go ahead, you were gonna say.
Oh, I know maybe we haven't covered a couple of things. Of course, now I actually have gotten a question: is Barack Obama gay or bisexual? And I'm told that the people that make this stuff up are, it's like a racial thing, and they're just trying to downplay his importance. That
Always.
Yeah. So it's really a shame when
Right.
people.
I saw that question, but everybody loves Obama that watches me. I didn't want to bring up a sensitive question like that. And now I see why you put it down there, is you just want to let everybody know it's a bunch of junk.
It's a bunch of junk.
Not that being gay or bisexual, there's nothing wrong with that either. But
No,
you know,
but they're doing it. They're doing it in a racial bias kind of way.
They never, especially that Trump, never could stand him.
Yeah.
That core of absolute hatred towards all nationalities except white. It's really a shame.
Also, I was asked about this coming winter.
Okay.
And I was told that we're going to have a mild winter, but with average precipitation. And Gaia said, now you understand, Tom, when I say mild, there are changing conditions during the winter, and obviously there are going to be some storms and things. But overall, she said, you asked me about overall for both North America and Europe, and overall it's going to be a mild winter.
Well, that's not what my guide said.
Oh, okay.
They've been warning us for a while, hurricanes and tornadoes and unprecedented storms, ice, all that. So it's Mother Nature's way of, this is what's going to bring us together, actually, because we're not going to be able to get comfortable in our own seats just doing the same thing every day. You're going to see a lot of power outages and stuff like that. But that's what my guide said. So
yeah, and that's fine. That's the beauty of what we do.
I mean, did you see the horrible mudslide and rains in Austria that's going on now? It's terrible.
No, I missed that.
There's a lot, and in fact, eventually, I even see the UK suffering from a lot of flooding. We'll get through it, but it's just mild. I didn't get, but if I'm hoping your guides are right.
Yeah, well,
but I don't see
only time will tell.
Yeah. Okay.
Have we anything else?
Yeah, there were some that, like the Obama one, I was nervous about that. Because like I said, a lot of people really love President Obama. I didn't realize what you said. When you said that, you were saying that that's a bunch of bull, so.
Yeah.
But, well, my friend.
Yep.
I will post your events. And I don't know when we can hook up again, because the end of this month I'm having that surgery and I'll be a little bit out of
and I recommend that all of your viewers and friends say the following benevolent prayer. I ask any and all beings to aid, comfort, and assist Linda Grindle in her surgery to be perfect and to bring her back to full health with no problems, and for the surgeon and nurses and staff to perform their work perfectly. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That's beautiful.
Now, I encourage everybody to say that exactly like that.
I'm not nervous about it. I think I'll do just fine. And my friend Starlink, he said, oh, Linda, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, I think so.
How's your health doing?
Pretty well.
Good.
considering age and whatever. So I'm cranking along there. Just it is what it is when as one starts to age.
Yeah, I know. Don't remind me.
Okay.
Don't remind me. Well, as long as we're alive,
Yep.
movement in the world is what keeps life going. We got to move forward all the time. All
Sure.
right, sweetie. I'll talk to you soon then. It might be probably hook up again. It'd be like November.
Okay.
Okay.
Look forward to it. Take
Okay.
care.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye,
Cheers.
everybody.